Hello everybody, welcome to another live video from me today where we're going to look at some more features of Joomla, and specifically today one of the tools I got asked about last week, which is RS Forms Pro, which is a form builder extension from RS Joomla. I used this again for many years now. It's covered every eventuality so far I've needed in terms of what people do or ask me to do with website forms on their websites within Joomla. So what I'm going to walk through is installing it and also then showing you how it works within Helix Page Builder. Joomla Page Builder Pro. You can do it a couple of ways, and I've got a preferred way which I tend to use all the time in terms of Joomla modules. So I'll have a go to that now. I've got my test website again, which has got none in. It's got no RS Forms Pro installed at the moment. So anyone familiar with Joomla, you should know how to install extensions, but I'll go through that anyway. We've got extensions manage install, and I'm going to upload a package file for RS Forms Pro, and my lovely Windows 11 installation keeps grouping my downloads, which is a frustration. And component is the first one. So I've got RS Form 3.0.15 is the current one, and there we go, installing as usual. While I'm waiting for that one, please say hello in the comments if you're watching me live today. Hashtag live if you are, and if you catch me on a replay, hashtag replay. Any questions that pop up during the video, please ask them in the comments, and if I can answer them today I will do. If I can't, I'll do my best to come back with them another time in the future. So that's the main one now installed. RS Forms Pro is now installed. Now what you can also download from them is a module to allow you to place a form anywhere on the website, and this is how I work it with Joomla Page Builder Pro. So I'm going to install RS Form, and there we go. So now I've got the two pieces in there that I need to work in terms of creating a form. Now there is obviously within Page Builder, if I look at my home page for example, there is a contact form add-on, and there's also a form builder add-on for this. Now I've not found the contact form is great. I use the contact form add-on on the majority of sites because it's dead easy and straightforward to use. I don't tend to use the form builder within Page Builder. I guess I'm just used to how RS Forms work, and it does have a lot more features than the base one built into Page Builder. However, horses for courses, you don't have to use RS Forms Pro. You can use the builder within this one. If you pay for the Pro version of Page Builder and it does all you need with the form builder, spot on, go with that one. So what I'm going to do first is in RS Forms Pro, it always comes by default with two example forms in there, which I don't need. I'm just going to trash those out of those, get rid of them. So when it wakes up, there we go. I'm going to start a new form now and show you how this looks in terms of the admin side. So I guess on first look, and I know I found this at first when I first started using it years ago, it appears to be quite complicated. There's an awful lot of things down the left hand side. In the form properties, there's loads of options and bits to set and fiddle with and tweak. So in terms of using this within Page Builder and Helix Ultimate 2, at the time of writing, they're both using Bootstrap 5 as their core. So in the form properties, in terms of how the form looks on the website, I will almost always choose Bootstrap 5, whatever latest version is within there. And that makes sure the styling matches really well with Helix and Page Builder without any issues in terms of layout. Personal preference in terms of the way the form looks, I do prefer to have the label on top of the field box. So the phone number box or the contact box, whatever, I prefer to have the label on top. You can do it both ways. Personal preferences is to use this one. I don't choose anything else there. Bootstrap 5. Layout flow for me is vertical, and in the form info section I'm going to give the form a title, and I'm also going to change the form name. This is only used to refer to, I don't need it in most cases, and I'm also going to turn off showing the form title. I want to leave all of that stuff to Page Builder when I add this to the pages. You can use mandatory fields. Again, you can change how they're marked if you want to. You can show thank you message when they filled it in as a pop-up. You can scroll to it, which I tend to do. You can edit the thank you message as well. So when they submit the form, this is the message they will see after the form submission's gone through. So you can do what you want with that, make it so you want. You can use HTML. If you're using JC Editor or one of the other editors in there, this should pull that through in terms of what you're looking at. I don't have them turned on for me. So save and close. You can also, within the Pro version at least, you can change it so that when somebody submits the form, it will redirect to another page on your website. You can choose to save the data to the database. The IP, which I always turn the IP off. I don't see why I need to worry about that one. Certainly for GDPR, it's one less thing to worry about. And you can also say delete submissions older than 90 days, 180, 30, whatever fits in there. Lots of other bits on there that I don't use at the moment. So again, I'm now going to just save that so that I've got this saved. I've got a notification, but no comments. So what I can look at now is the most important bit potentially, is the form fields. So I can add any of these things to the form and it will then show them on the front end. So I'm going to do a really simple one now. I'm going to do a text box and it pops up and says what's the name. I'm going to call it name. Your name. The caption is what will show above it. I tend to use lowercase for the name because this is what I'll see as an admin. The caption is what gets showed above the field name on the form to the front people. I can, if I want, I can set it as required, yes. I can set validation if I want to. There's a few exist already. I don't tend to do this, but you can, if you want, for email addresses and stuff. You can change the error message if they don't complete it and click submit. That will be shown to them. You can change a few bits and bobs in terms of the sizes. I don't tend to for text boxes. I'm going to save that one. I'm going to do a really simple form. I'm going to have a name. I'm going to do a text area, and I'm going to call this one message. And again, I'm going to make that required. Please enter your message. Save. Now, next most important bit is you need a submit button. It's warning me this at the top. No submit button is found. So I'm going to add from this list submit button. And again, now this time I've got label and caption. I don't need to do a caption. I don't want a word above the button, but I want a label on the button. And you can have that whatever you want, basically, and save. So now I've got two form fields, name and message. If it's going to be a long form, I take note of these because I need to use them in terms of what happens when the email gets sent to me with the form details in. So I've got name and message, and I'm going to save that again. I like to save regularly as I go for the sake of being sensible. Now I've got a spreadsheet saved for this because I find if I've got a long form with lots of fields in, this spreadsheet will generate me automatically what needs to be in. Now, I've only got, this probably means nothing to some people at the moment. I've got name and I've got message. And what this does, if I copy those, paste them in there, this creates the content I need for the form email. So don't have to worry about this too much because you'll see how this looks in terms of the form admin. So if I go to form properties, I can set up emails that get triggered when the form is submitted. So if I want to, I can send an email to the person that filled it in if their email address is actually on the form. In this case, it's not. I can send an email to admin. So I'm going to just make this one up. I'm going to have from myself. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to do that yet. Shall I? No, I think what I'll do, I'm going to add email as a text box to this because it makes a lot more sense. And I'm going to validate it. Save. Now this will help you actually see how this works a little bit. So this is a builder. I basically can drag these boxes around. I can change it to be a 2-column row. I can put that over there. I can go back to 1 column. I can add a new row, so I can then have a new row with 3 columns. So you can lay the form out as you want. If you've got lots of fields, it's really comprehensive in terms of getting that form layout to look as good as you want it to. I've got some forms which are very, very long, and that layout is good. So now I've got name, email, message. So what I would do now, I'm just going to leave that because I don't need to worry about it. I'm going to go to my form properties, admin emails. So admin emails are the ones that come to you as the site owner. Now what I can do in here, the from email I'm going to have as the email value. So this is the person that's the email, the form has been completed by. The from name I'm also going to do as name value, and 2, it's going to come to me. So I want my email address in this one. You can CC, BCC, reply to name. The reply to email again is going to be the email value. So if I get this email from an inquiry, I can just click the reply button and it will automatically fill in the email address of the person that's completed the form. Subject line, again, I can be quite clever. I can see new form submission from, and I can also add the name value in there. So this can be quite useful for searching, or it makes it quite clear then when, oh, this is a new feature. Now this is new to me. This has got an auto-generate message anyway. I'm going to show the old way first, just to be sure, and then I will try that one. So if I edit the email text now, this is basically what each value from the form field needs to look like to show you these things. So I've got, I'm going to change this because this is going to be email. So I've got the name caption, which is the word name. I've got the name value, which is what the submitter fills in, and I've got that repeated for email caption, email value, and message caption, message value. And again, you can use HTML, layouts, and all sorts of stuff like that one. Save and close. So now I'm going to save and close the whole form. So that's the base form setup. If I look in now in the modules within Joomla, there is an empty one, unpublished, called RS Form Pro module. So I'm just going to put this one as test form RS forms. So I know what it is. I've only got one form to choose from, which is linked to this one. I don't want it assigned to any pages or a position. I don't want to show the title, and I want it published so I can choose it on my website now. So that module is created now to show the RS form on the page. If I go into Page Builder and I go to my home page, for example, which at the moment, as you can see, it's got nothing in, it's blank, I can add an add-on, the Joomla module add-on, and I can select my test form module, apply, and save. And now on my home page, there's my form with all the buttons and bits and bobs in that I've added to it. So realistically, that is as simple as it needs to be in terms of adding an RS form to Page Builder. You can link to it as a menu item, but I prefer not to. I generally will have a form because I can now edit this. I can give it a title. I can obviously configure that title with the usual Joomla add-on settings if I want. You know, I can start to do it, all that type of thing. I can obviously then play with it if I want it to be do it that way and make it narrower, for example. Have it in the middle. Again, I can play and just pop it in the middle and do what I want with it. So I find I get a lot more flexibility using it this way than having it as a page directly linked menu item to the form. especially if you've got standard footers and layouts and other bits you want on that page. This is as flexible as it gets, I find, in terms of using it. And also what it means is as well, if I want to change that form, so I go back to that form and I edit it and I add another field, so I add a, let's have a look, I'll have another text area called test. And I add it in and I want to put it there and I save it. Again, that will now pop through automatically. I haven't got to go back and edit that page, it pulls it straight through. So that's RS Form. There's an awful lot more you can do with it. It integrates with Google Recapture. There's a free plugin you can download from RS Forms, from RS Joomla with that in. There's a load of integrations. You can integrate it with MailChimp, dozens of other bits and bobs you can do. You can have a multi-page form, so I can add a page break and put it in the form area where I want, and then it will literally give me a multi-page form to step through. And that within Page Builder steps through the form pages, but it doesn't step through any website pages. It stays all on the screen. You can have file uploads, obviously in the form properties. You can send emails to the user, so you might want to send an email that is to confirm you've received the email or thank you for your submission, back in touch. In that case, the global mail from relates to the logged in user. Now, might be useful, might not be useful, but you could again use the email value, the name value, and again to actually no, that one would be your own email because it's from you. The recipient, the email is going to be sent to the email value. Again, the reply to is your own. The name there is your own. Again, CC. And again, if you want to be a little bit personal, you could do thank you name. Thank you. So thank you, John, for your email. Again, edit the email text if you wanted it to, and save and close, and away you go. Now, I was going to just try there. I've got a comment on that. I'm just going to go and have a quick look because somebody was commenting on my video feed earlier. It's on my. My wife's saying hello. I was going to test the auto generation in the admin emails. Now, I've never seen this one before. So I'm going to take all of that out. And I'm going to say auto generate email message, yes. So that should. Does that put all the fields in? Excuse me, my door's just been knocked on, as per usual in the middle of a live video. As a bit of a demonstration of a real world usage of these things and what goes on. Let me just see what this is. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Yeah, there we go for live examples of live videos in the real world, and the doorbell goes. That was set. I expected that to auto-generate that. If you would like to automatically include all available placeholders in your admin email text, save. But it didn't show me anything in it, did it? How does it generate the email text? The placeholders will be generated at the bottom of the message. I don't know. I'm still not convinced. I'll have to check up on that one. That's a new one, but that would be certainly time saving in terms of what it needs to do. So that's RS Forms Pro. I use that, as I say, an awful lot. It's on an awful lot of my sites. I've used it for individual little tiny forms and big multi-page job application forms and many, many more that fit in. I found it really flexible in terms of what I can do with it. Um, it also saves things. If you have got it to save things to the database, you can go back in and choose the form, and it will let you look at the submissions you've had. You can also select them individually or all at once and export that batch to CSV/Excel and everything else. So you can then analyze that outside of here or pull it into whatever system you might need. Um, they're definitely the main core parts that I've done. And as I say, great bit of kit. And for me at the moment, that one's done. There are one or two questions on my profile on my post today. One of them, I'm going to come back to this, but somebody asked about adding add-ons to Page Builder that are not the default. These are already in, actually. I've already installed these, but if you go to warptheme.com, and I'll pop a link in the comments to this, they've got a set of extra add-ons for Page Builder. Where's my video? I'm going to call it. Pop a link in the comments so that you can click this yourself and go to it direct. There's two sets. There's a free one and there's a paid version, but basically you've got a huge amount of extra add-ons to add to Page Builder Pro. Well, Page Builder and Pro. There's a freebie one, and then you can pay for single site and multi-site unlimited. And the benefit of these, Warp Theme, I think, are very good for this. This is an unlimited lifetime access to this. You don't have to renew it. It's not like it lasts for 6 months, and it's a one-off payment. You can go back and download them all again, which I think is fantastic. So I use quite a lot. There's an awful lot of extra little features with this. That I've used quite regularly in terms of what's there. So there are some repeated ones. There's buttons and button groups. There's this thing, but there's always a slight difference or an extra feature or benefit in terms of how they work with compared to the standard Joom Shaper ones. That opens up in an individual tab. So I've got button group. There's little things like if you look at headlines, it's got animations. You can literally have it as it moves. It'll type them out, animated ones. It's got other things like, where is it? Heading, is it? So the heading one, if I'm right, has got extra little features like you can add dividing lines, left and right center, parallax headers, a few little extra styling tweaks that might be a nice addition rather than the Page Builder standard ones. Gallery, which is the pop-up. It's got just some nice little features for different person add-ins, different layouts for them, hover features boxed, pop-ups for the LinkedIn social icons, a handful of different layouts, and it's just a nice way of bringing a bit of a difference to your page without necessarily having to custom style it. It gives you these options. What's the team one? Yeah, so there's navbar. Oh, it's got as well. I like this one. I've used predefined styles that look like stars, snow, although the snow's going upwards at the moment there. Stars going sideways. These are interactive as um, VG image instead. Just a lot of extra little features that aren't in standard Joomla, Page Builder Pro. It's always nice to have a few extra options in terms of doing things. And I want to do an add-on. They're actually all there as Warp theme add-ons to pick. So I can come down, I can add, I don't know, business, and they just show up and edit the same as a, as same as a Page Builder add-on does. There's a lot of useful little icons, nav bars, toggles, text buttons, just extra little bits and bobs that I just think are quite a nice little extra set of features really to use. Always good to have more options available for page designs. Just, not everything's covered by everybody. It's always something else to do. So yeah, have a look. They're free for the small one, or the big one's more expensive. I might try, if anyone's interested, let me know. I'll come back to that, and I can do an installation guide on putting them onto your site. Basically, it's a nice. I found them really useful to just bring a little bit of a difference and some extra features. So anyway, that's me for today. I've not got any questions to come back to. Somebody asked about the forms last week, and I said I would come back to it this week, which I have. What I'm planning to do, if not next week, the one after, hopefully, I'm going to do a live Joomla 4 installation and walk through installing literally an empty Joomla install. I might use the raw one from Joomla. I might use the Quick Start package from Joomshape with Helix Ultimate 2, and if they've got one, I've not looked yet. If not, I'll do a clean Joomla 4 installation, and I'll add Page Builder and Helix Ultimate to it, enable them all, and hopefully that'll be a bit of useful information for people going forward. If you haven't already, I have got a YouTube channel now where I'm popping in all of these videos to keep for the future. I'm going to pop a link to it in the comments so that if anybody wants to come back and look at these again and not have to troll through my personal feed, there's my channel link. Twice apparently. It's magic. I don't know why that's twice. And you'll find them all. So all the ones I've added so far, I'll put this one up probably later today or tomorrow, for your enjoyment in the future. And if you like the channel, drop me subscribe. Again, any questions between now and next week, drop me a message. Add me as a friend if you want on Facebook. I've got no problem with that at all. And I'll answer your questions and see you next week. Thank you, everybody.